What is up, guys? It is Patman Does MTG here with a Magic the Gathering deck tech. Matter of fact, this is my first ever Commander deck tech, and it is a white-blue Commander deck that I made way back. And please bear with me on the time of this video. Every card is one by one, so it will be a very long video, and a deck list might not be in the description below. I don't know. This is 100 cards, so I mean, bear with me here. We're going to start it off with our commander. Our commander being Isperia, Supreme Judge. She is 2 blue, 2 white, and 2 colorless. A flyer that whenever a creature attacks me or the planeswalker I control, I can draw a card. And it's a 6/4 flyer. So that is our commander. 6 mana cost for our commander is a real pain in the ass. But, I mean, this is a good card. It works. I mean, I plan on switching the commander out with something maybe better. I don't know yet, but this is still a good commander that we're using for now for the deck. Everything else in the deck runs pretty smoothly. I like it. White-blue commander, this I just need to find a better commander than her. She's good, but she's not the best, so I'm working with her. Basic land, literally for my commander deck, I made it 40 lands. I have 20 islands and 20 plains for the whole deck. That is 40 cards, let alone with just land base alone. That's a big stack of land right there. 40 cards of land. So 20 plains, 20 islands. That is what I have. For our creatures, we have a lot of those too, but we're going to get in with our 1-drops, of course. We have a Fugitive Wizard, which is just 1 blue for a 1/1. Easy card to get it out of the way. It's Fugitive Wizard. We have a Cloudfin Raptor. These are useful because they have 1 blue, a 0/1 with flying and evolve. Evolve is whenever another creature with a bigger toughness and or power enters the battlefield, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So this can get huge, I guess, with other creatures that'll enter the battlefield to get it +1/+1 counters if you can get it out. That's another thing about Commander. It's all just single cards, so kind of hard to find those cards right off the bat of the game, but I do have a lot of good 1 mana cost in here. For our other 1 cost, we have a Selfless Cathar, 1 white. He can be tapped 1 white and 1 colorless to sacrifice him to give all of our creatures a +1/+1 until end of turn, and he's a 1/1. So that's another good card, I guess, kind of to help out. Another one of our 1-drops is a Soulmender. This guy is great. It's a 1/1 that you can tap 1 white mana to play, and you can tap him to gain a life. Of course you want this. You can gain life with it. It's a 1/1 for 1. You need a lot of 1-drops in Commander, in my opinion, to just have that ability to, of course, do damage. We have a Caravan Escort. This is a very good card. 1 white mana. He has the level up for 2 colorless. I'm sorry, I had to look at that. He starts off as a 1/1. If you pay 2 colorless from 1 to 4, he will be a 2/2. Once he gets to level 5 or up, he is a 5/5 with first strike. So if you can get him out there, pay the 2 mana each turn to level him up enough, he'll become a 5/5 first strike within 5 levels, within 5 turns of you paying 2 mana. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, that's a good card to have for a 1-drop. A 5/5 first strike, not bad. We have another good card in here. It's the Soul's Attendant, 1 white. We have a 1/1 that whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may gain a life. Basically, it's Essence Warden, but white. It's 1/1 that whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you can gain a life. And it's called Soul's Attendant. This is a very good card. It gives me life if I need it when it comes out. But this is a good card to have. Another good card is Boros Elite. For 1 white, we have whenever it attacks with 2 other creatures, Boros Elite gets a +2/+2 until end of turn, and it's a 1/1. So this guy becomes a 3/3 until end of turn when he attacks with 2 creatures at least. So that's not bad. For 3/3 for 1, when he attacks with 2, works. Now we get into our next highest, maybe not our next highest drop, my bad. For some reason he was there. We get into our 2-drops. Our 2-drops being a 1, of course, a Daring Skyjack. For 1 white and 1 colorless, we get whenever he attacks with 2 at least. Whenever he and at least 2 other creatures attack, he gains flying until end of turn, and he's a 3/1. So this guy gets flying when he attacks with 2 other creatures, and he's a 3/1. So 3 attack in air. If they don't have any flyers, they have to take 3. So that's good. A Corral Outrider is 1 white and 1 colorless. The level up cost of 4. He's a 1/2 starting off. That whenever he goes from level 1 to 3, he's a 2/6 with vigilance. And then whenever he's level 4 up, he's a 3/10 with vigilance. So mainly the defense is what I work on with this guy. So he's good for defense, and he's vigilance, so he doesn't have to tap. And yeah, 3/10 for vigilance, that's not bad at all. But that's of course within 4 turns of tapping 4 mana, we can get him to be a 3/10 vigilance defender. A lot of these cards in this deck are also level up cards. For our next 2 mana card, we have a Jeskai Elder. He is just a prowess, so whenever you cast instants or sorceries, he gets to get a +1/+1 counter. Basically, when you cast non-creature spells, he gets +1/+1 counter until end of turn, and that can stack. And then also, whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, and if you do, you discard a card. So that's not bad. We have a Sage of Hours, of course. This is a very good card. I actually really enjoy it. 1 blue, 1 colorless. That whenever he is targeted by a spell, you get to put a +1/+1 on it, and remove all +1/+1 counters on this. And for each 5 +1/+1 counters removed on him, you get to take an extra turn after this one. I'm sorry for turning the cards. Like I said, when I'm recording, these are all written backwards on my screen, so I'm going to have to kind of flip them to read them right side. Whenever the video is finally published, for some reason it all flips and everything is back right side, so you guys get to read it right side. I have to read it backwards, so that's really difficult. Now we have another 2 mana cost is Knight of Cliffhaven. He is 1 white, 1 colorless. He starts out as a 2/2 that you can level him up for 3. When he's level 1 through 3, he's a 2/3 flyer, and whenever he is a level 4 up, he is a flyer with vigilance and a 4/4. So that's of course always good to have, a 4/4 vigilance flyer. I mean, yeah, pretty nice. Now we get into our 3 mana cost. For our 3 mana cost, we have a Helioid's Pilgrim. This is because we have many enchantments in the deck that we'll get over later. But whenever she enters, she's a 1 white 2. Whenever she enters the battlefield, we get to search our library for an aura card, put it on, and then put it in our hand and shuffle, and it's a 1/2. So that's not bad because we get to search our library for an aura, enchantment, and then shuffle, which helps a lot in Commander if you're getting land base out the ass. So yeah, that's a shuffle with our Commander. Our next one is Seagate Oracle. 1 blue and 2. Whenever he's a 1/3, that whenever he enters the battlefield, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand, and the other at the bottom of your library. So it's a 1/3 Seagate Oracle, for 1 blue and 2. That's not bad at all in my opinion. Pretty good card. We definitely need this. It's Banisher Priest. We definitely need him. He's a 2/2, 2 white and 1. When he enters the battlefield, we get to exile a target creature an opponent controls until he leaves the battlefield. So this basically gets your creatures that your opponents control out of the way. Or at least one of them, of course, because he's only 1 card, which sucks about Commander, but this is very useful. 2/2 that can remove a creature and get him out of the way is always useful, and he's pretty damn good card. We also have a Geist of Moors for a flyer. Basically, he's just 2/1, 2 white, 1 colorless, flying, 3/1, 3/1 flyer that we can get out for 3. Not bad, I guess. Then we got our Chasm Skulker. This is a very good card for 1 blue and 2. Whenever you draw a card, you put a +1/+1 on him. When he dies, you put X 1/1 blue squids with Island Walk, I believe. Yeah, onto the battlefield, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters that were on him. He's a 1/1. So this is a great card because he'll boost up each turn because you draw your cards, and then he'll die, and you'll put out a bunch of 1/1s with Island Walk. And if you're playing an Island Commander deck, you've got a bunch of things that can't be blocked. So this is a fantastic card to have, in my opinion. And if you don't have Island in your opponent's deck, then you just have a bunch of 1/1 tokens you can throw under the bus and block stuff with. Our next 3-drop is, of course, a Wall of Frost. I love this card. For 2 blue and 1, we get a Defender 0/7 that whenever a creature is blocked by Wall of Frost, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So we keep it tapped for a turn by blocking it with this, which is a fantastic thing. I love it. For another card, we have our Frost Slanks, 1 blue and 2 colorless. When he enters the battlefield, we tap a target creature opponent controls, and it doesn't untap during its next untap step for 2/2. So we keep a creature tapped for a turn, 2 turns, I think. And that's always good to have, of course. Get a creature tapped for 2 turns, save us some life, and or get some open up the battlefield for an attack in some ways. We have a Mardu Horde Chief in here because 1 white and 2, for 2/3 isn't bad. Not alone, if you attacked with a creature, you get to put out a 1/1 white warrior token. So we get to put out a token if we attacked with a creature this turn and then play him. So that's always good to have, I guess. Some token producement, and this deck helps out with our other stuff. So, yeah. And then we have a Paragon of Gathering Mist, 1 blue, and this is when we get into our 4-drops. 1 blue and 3, we get other blue creatures, get a +1/+1, which is always useful. And then we tap 1 blue, and this we can have another target blue creature gain flying until the end of the turn, and he's a 2/2. So we can give a blue creature flying, have him be able to swing over the battlefield if they don't have any flyers, of course, and deal some damage. It's a good card to have, and plus it gives all of our blue creatures a +1/+1. I don't know why you wouldn't want it. I also thought I had Paragon of New Dawns in here to give our other white creatures +1/+1, but I guess I don't. We'll find out. We have another Wall of Swords. This is a pretty damn good card in my opinion. For 1 white and 3, you get a Defender with Flying that's a 3/5. You get to block flyers with a 3/5 Defender, which is always useful. You get to deal damage while defending. 3 damage only, but still, not bad. So that's a good card to have in my opinion, and it's in there for defense, of course. So yeah, good card. We have a Seraph of Dawn. She is 2 white and 2 colorless for a flyer with lifelink and a 2/4. Lifelink is really the reason I have her, and flying. We always need defense against flyers just in case we run up against a commander deck that has all flying. And not only that, it's always good to have flying if you run up a commander against that doesn't have flying, so you can hit their life points and get them out of the game. This deck is not my favorite commander deck that I have. I have 2 commander decks. I have the white-blue one, and I have a green-black one. My green-black one is phenomenal. I love that one. This one is more my meh deck. But for a first commander deck, I figured I'd do this one because this one is one of my first decks I ever made. My green-black is actually my last deck I made, and it is so much better. But anyway, yeah. Seraph of Dawn, Flying, Lifelink, 2/4. Mainly for the flying, mainly for the lifelink. Really good card to help out, I guess, in the deck as well. Merfolk Sky Scout is our next 4-drop for 2 blue and 2. We get a flyer again that whenever it attacks or blocks, you can untap a target permanent, and it's a 2/3. So you get to untap a thing. So land, enchantment, whatever, you can untap it and have it able to do what it needs to do. So this is a good card to have, of course, again, with flying. Flying is a big thing in this deck, I feel, because of the fact that it is literally just, you need your flyers. You really do. They can swing over if they don't have flying, and like I said, everybody who plays Magic should know. I don't know why I explain myself. For our other 4 mana, we have a Clever Impostor. For 2 blue and 2, we get to make a copy of a creature on the battlefield, and this is what that is. So this can become one of the enemy's creatures that is absolutely huge, or it can become a creature we already have that's good. So this is always a good thing to have. A clone, basically. Clones are fantastic. We have a Kabira Vindicator, 1 white and 3. He starts out as a 2/4, and for 1 white and 2, you can level him up. From levels 2 to 4, other creatures you control get a +1/+1, and he's a 3/6. That's always good. But level 5 and up, we get a 4/8 that other creatures you control get a +2/+2. So it gives us creatures a boost, and we always need our creatures to have a good boost, so that's why he's in here. We have an Geomancer because we do need our counters and instants and sorceries, so this is a 2 blue, 2 colorless. When he enters the battlefield, we get to return the target instant or a sorcery card from our graveyard to our hand, and that is why he's in here for 1/2. We get to return an instant or a sorcery, and instants and sorceries are useful in this deck. Even though I don't have many, it's needed. For our 5-drops, finally, we get into our Serra Angel, 2 white, 3 colorless. It's a flying vigilance, 4/4. Again, with the flying, useful. Vigilance, again, very useful because we don't have to tap. I don't know why I explain myself. You all play Magic. You all know what it is. Anyway, so Serra Angel. Another card that we have is for 5 is a Seahawk Monster. For 2 blue and 3, we get a creature that can't attack unless the defending player controls an island. But for 2 blue and 5, we can make him a monstrosity of 3, making him a 8/8 that also, when he becomes monstrous, we can make a target land and an island in addition to its other types. So even if they're not running island, we can make it an island, and we can attack with an 8/8. So why not have it? Leyline Phantom is our next 5-drop for 1 blue and 3. When he enters the battlefield, when he deals combat damage to a player, or when he deals combat damage, we can return him to our hand, and he's a 5/5. Yeah, that's always good because we could just play him and then swing, get a hit for 5, and then return him back to our hand, play him again, and swing. Of course, not away because he doesn't have haste, but still, good card to play. Have a defense of 5, block, deal damage, return. Always good. We have a tireless missionaries, mainly for the life gain that he enters. For 1 white and 4, when he enters the battlefield, we gain 3 life, and he's a 2/3. Now, I should probably put in lone missionary. That's for 1 white and 1. We get a 2/1 that enters the battlefield, and we gain 4, I think. I might even have to switch that out. But this is in there for the game life and stuff, so yeah. And then we get into our giant creatures of the deck. We only have 2, other than our commander itself. This is Scourge the Fleets. I love this card. 2 blue, 5. When he enters the battlefield, return each creature your opponents control with a power. Hold on. Return each creature your opponents control with toughness X or less, where X is the number of islands you control, and he's a 6/6. So if you have a lot of islands out there and you play him, you're returning practically all of their creatures, unless they have a huge creature in play. But you're returning all of their creatures to their hands, and then if that's more than 7 cards, they have to discard. And he's a 6/6, so yeah, great card. And then our next big creature is an archangel. For 2 white and 5, we get a flying with vigilance 5/5. So again, just a 5/5 flyer. Flying's a big thing, obviously. Now we get into our instants finally, and this video is already long as hell, but I'm glad that I can finally record over 15 minutes actually. I was saying in my last videos that I can record over 10. I was always able to record over 10. But anyway, this one is Mortals. Okay, so this is our instance, and then we have our enchantments, then we have our sorceries, and then the deck is done. Alright, Mortals Adore. 1 white, we get to give a creature +1/+1 and lifelink until end of turn. Pretty self-explanatory. Saving Grasp. For 1 blue, we get to return a target creature to our hand, and he has a flashback cost of 1 that we can cast it from the grave for 1 white to do the same thing. It saves us with a block. We can block something bigger than ours and then return it to our hand and save that creature. And also save our commander, even in that case, basically by just going block with my commander, Saving Grasp my commander. He comes to my hand so that my commander doesn't have to be paid 2 more mana costs into the commander zone. And I can just pay the same mana that I paid him to get him out in the beginning. Or if your commander's already been in the commander zone multiple times and he's like being the Asperia Sky Supreme Judge, a freaking 14 mana cost, we can just say block, Saving Grasp. I can only pay 6 because he's in my hand now. That's always amazing. I love that. So yeah, you don't have to pay the 16 mana cost for the commander. That's the only reason I need to switch out Asperia, because she is a 6 mana starting, and that gets huge. So Saving Grasp is useful because we get to return the creature to our hand and pay him again and have it out there. Emerge Unscathed is another one we have. For 1 white, we get to target creature I control. Let me read this myself. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until the end of the turn. It has rebound, so we can actually exile the spell as it resolves and play it again at the beginning of our next turn without paying the mana cost. So that is Emerge Unscathed for 1 white. That's always a good card to have, I guess. I mean, it gives us protection, so yeah. Now we get into our 2 mana instance. We have a negate for 1 blue and 1. We get to counter our target non-creature spell. Of course, we need some counters in here. It's blue. You need counter spells. That's negate. Then we have Essence Scatter. Essence Scatter again, 1 blue, 1 colorless. We counter our target creature spell. Get that creature out of there. Then we have Disdainful Stroke for 1 blue, 1 colorless. We counter our target spell that is a mana cost of 4 or greater. So that's always good to have as well. And now we have some destroying stuff with a Puncturing Light. We get to tap 1 white and 1. We get to destroy a target attacking or blocking creature with a power 3 or less. So we'll get that out of the way. We have a Disperse to return a target non-land permanent to its owner's hand for 1 blue and 1. That's basically another Savings Grasp. We'll use it to return our creature to our hand to save it. We have a Regress, another basic Saving Grasp, 1 blue and 2, return target permanent to its owner's hand. Basically another saving card. We have a Kill Shot to 1 white and 2 to destroy target attacking creature. Just get it out of the way. Basically, if a big creature attacks, we're just going to go, no, die. And then we have, for 5 mana drops, Aether Spouts, 2 blue and 3. For each attacking creature, its owner puts it on the top of the library. Of course, we're just going to board wipe the creatures that attack. If they tap all out and attack, you just go, Aether Spouts, put them all at the top. Everything goes at the top, and you basically board wipe them, and they're open. Basically a fog, but getting rid of all their creatures in 1 turn is great. So that's great. And then a Jace's Ingenuity for draw power. For 2 blue, 3, we draw 3 cards. Now we get into our enchantments, and I am terribly sorry for how long this is. This is the first time I've done a Commander deck tech, so please bear with me. I know it's a very long video. I'm just trying to explain stuff and get all the Commander stuff in it. So here we go. For our enchantments, we really have a lot of Umbras, which give us Totem Armor, which Totem Armor is fantastic. And +1/+1s and abilities, and +4 defense, all sorts of stuff. So for our first enchantment, we have a Hyena Umbra. 1 white, it gets a enchanted creature, gets a +1/+1 and first strike, and he has Totem Armor. When he's targeted by anything, spells or abilities, or if he's destroyed, we just remove this Umbra and the creature stays there. Fantastic. I love Totem Armor. It's fantastic. We also have for our 2 mana, Eel Umbra. 1 blue and 1. We have a flash, so he can be casted like an instant. The enchanted creature gets a +1/+1, and he gets Totem Armor. So we get the Totem Armor again to just be like, yeah, it doesn't die. This could basically be used as flash to save our creature if he dies, and then just Totem Armor him immediately and be like, nope, protection until the end of the turn. And he dies. Or doesn't die, but you know what I mean. Our next one is an Eland Umbra for 1 white and 1. Enchanted creature gets a +4 defense and Totem Armor. Totem Armor again, useful as hell. And then there goes our Umbras, I think, for the rest of this. No, we have a couple more. But now we get into our other 2 mana. We have a Divine Favor. 1 white and 1 enchanted creature. Enchanted creature, when it enters the battlefield, when this enters the battlefield, Divine Favor, you gain 3. And the enchanted creature gets a +1 attack and +3. So, always useful. We have an Invisibility. These are fantastic. 2 blue. Enchanted creature can't be blocked except by walls. So, if they're not running walls, they're getting hit. Always good to have. Especially for our commander. We enchant our commander, and then our commander is just swinging in and hitting them for commander damage, which will end the game in 21 damage. Encrust is our next enchantment. For 2 blue and 1, we enchant artifact or creature. When enchanted artifact or creature doesn't untap during its controller's untapped step, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Now, Encrust is one of those enchantments that we have to tap. If the creature attacks, we can just go Encrust, keep them tapped. I found that out recently, that if you play a creature that isn't tapped on like an Encrust or something, it doesn't tap the creature. It just sits there and stays untapped until they tap it, which sucks. But yeah, this is always good to have still. Our next Umbra is Drake Umbra. 1 blue and 4. We give an enchanted creature +3/+3 and flying, and it's totem armor as well. Totem armor is always great. Our next enchantment is Eternity Snare. 1 blue and 5. Enchanted creature. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you draw a card, the Eternity Snare, and the enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So we keep it tapped. And then we have Dismiss into Dream. 1 blue and 6. Each creature your opponents control is an illusion in addition to its other types, and it has the ability that whenever it is targeted by a spell or an ability, that creature has to be sacrificed. So that's always good to have. And now for our last little pile of the deck, thank God. We have our little sorcery. We have a Shared Discovery. As an additional cost to cast, we play 1, and then as an additional cost to cast it, we have to tap 4 untapped creatures we control and draw 3 cards. So that is another draw power spell that we have to help us get some cards in hand. We have a Divination. Speaking of draw power, 1 white, 1 blue, and 2. We get to draw 2. Always need some draw power in this deck. And then we have a Solemn Offering for gain life and getting rid of artifacts or enchantments. We have 1 white and 2. Destroy target artifact or enchantment and gain 4. We have a Last Thoughts. This is really good. 1 blue, 3. We get to draw a card and cipher it onto a creature. And whenever that creature deals damage to their life points, we get to draw a card again. More draw power. And then we have Vanquish the Foul as our last card in the deck. 1 white and 5. Destroy a target creature with a power of 4 or greater, and then scry 1. So that is my white-blue commander deck. It is fat as hell because commanders are 100 cards. They need to be 100 cards, either that or they won't be legal. It's either 100 cards, no more or no less, and all of which cards cannot be copies of any cards. So commander decks take a long time to make. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I know it was a very long video of me going on about this white-blue commander deck, but I hope you guys watched it because this is the first commander deck I've ever made, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching the deck. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video. Pac-Man Does MTG is getting off. See you later.